Okay, let's go ahead and get started there, everybody. Welcome back to another 1 p.m. PST YouTube stream. I'm your host, Strange Bird Jim. And today, well, I'm finally getting back into a little bit of regular streaming. Apologies for those of you that have been kind of waiting for me to continue with the Pega certification journey and the like. Been kind of, uh, well, in some ways, been kind of getting my lunch late. Not in some cases not by choice. So it's just I haven't really been wanting to hop on right away. So um, because I'm kind of dealing with all the those difficulties, um, but it's neither here nor there. You're not gonna care about that. But, apologies for anybody that was just kind of going, okay, Jim, when's your next Pega certification? Well, here it is. Um, so we got that for the next hour. I have to be quick because the challenge is fairly lengthy, so I'm gonna be kind of keeping the intro a little short today. Um, so got Pega. I got the Unreal Engine after that. We got some videos to upload. And we got the Lego video game later on tonight. I have not been happy with that game. The fact that it crashed on me last time around did not, um, you know, uh, I basically said, don't bother purchasing the game because it's, not worth it. Um, we'll see where it goes from there. Um, but yeah, the PC port was not great. It did not do a great job in terms of the PC port for the Lego game. So, um, but you're here, and if you're watching this stream right now or you're watching the video later, welcome to the Pega portion of the video. Um, I'm currently an unemployed software developer whose last job was working with the Pega environment. Um, the company that I worked for gave us an authorized training partner for like 20 people to learn from, and well, he didn't do a great job. A lot of us went self-study. Um, you know, uh, I didn't really learn much from him. Um, so the one and only time that I took the certification, I failed. I told him as such because I had not studied enough at that point when they forced me to take it. And I never went back um, to trying to learn the Pega environment or, go through the Pega Academy to learn everything to try to take the certification again. So that falls on me. Um, I do kind of wish that my last employer did more on their end, actually provided more of a, proper mentorship, put us back into another training cycle with a different authorized training partner because believe me, a lot of us did not do well with the authorized training partner that we had. Even the guy's coworkers knew that he was messing up, because he messed up with them. So it was just bad all the way around. So, but this videos are my attempt to get through the system architect certification process and attempt to try to um, attempt the certification and try to get it, taken care of. You know, get my certification so that I can put it on my resume And, I can actually start applying for jobs that are asking for certified um, system architects. So, um, oh, okay. Well, that's weird. I thought it was showing me logged in on here, but I guess not. Okay. That's a little odd, but, whatever. I'll deal with it. 1 second. Let me take care of this real quick. There it is. All right. So sorry about that. So the business architect has done. I've already done the 2 missions and 2 modules. I would recommend that you go through the Pega Express delivery because these 2 modules I feel don't cover enough for the business architect certification for the Pega Express delivery. So, but we're continuing on with the system architect. We're really close to the very end of it. We have we have one challenge, or I think we have like 2 challenges left, as well as a module. Yeah, that's about it. Then we have the mission exercise and the mission test afterwards. Um, so let's get into testing your application here. So I'll start up the instance there. This is apparently a really long one, 40 minutes, 4 tasks. So we're going to be working on this a little bit. Um, there is the challenge walkthrough, but I don't use that. I mean, unless the detailed tasks are really terrible, they don't really explain well enough, then I might use the walkthrough. But for the most part, it's I don't really use it. Detailed tasks are good enough for the most part. It's not always the case, but you know. The scenario in this case is for an assistance request case. When users enter the vehicle make, one or more associated models are displayed in the model drop-down list. Intermittently, users report that during the submit request process, some car makes do not have an associated model name in the drop-down list when entering the vehicle information. Stakeholders need to easily identify the vehicle makes with at least one associated model. Additionally, stakeholders are concerned about the application performance. To ensure that customers can complete assistance request cases efficiently, stakeholders require that the vehicle model list is generated within 200 milliseconds and that the user interface and end-to-end process flows functions correctly. To meet these requirements, your deployments manager has asked you to create a unit test to create a vehicle model list and confirm the model list generates the time threshold. Create a scenario test to automate testing for the assistant request case type. And run a test coverage session using the unit test and scenario test to report the results. Following table provides the credentials you need. I'm going to go ahead and copy the password there. So yeah, that's quite a bit. If I remember correctly, we didn't really do much concerning the test, the unit tests and stuff like that um, from our you know authorized training partner. So that wasn't great. But all right, let's go ahead and log on in. Okay, so first off, we're going to be going to the Dev Studio and then clicking on data types. Then we will need to expand the vehicle models once we get there. Oh, different username this time. Gotcha. Um, Okay, apparently I can't even there. Okay. Well, here I was thinking that we were going to be using the same author username, but I was wrong. So um, that is used through the all the other um, exercises. The fact that they switched it out, it's like, maybe let people know about that. But I mean, I should have looked at it a little bit closer. I'll admit that that was more my fault, but still, it's like they kept on using author at Google Road, author at Google Road, author at Google Road. They never changed up the username unless you had like, multiple roles that they had, but they never changed this about, so that was a little weird. No, I don't want people, I don't want Pega to know my location. Thank you very much. It starts you off at App Studio, so not much you can really do about that. You just have to wait for them to load everything in and then, make the switch over. So, okay. App Studio to Dev Studio. Data types. And then it was vehicle makes, was it? No, vehicle models. And then click list vehicle models. Okay. So list vehicle models. All right. So we'll be getting the D vehicle models list data page here. The list vehicle models data page is not displayed in the Data Explorer. Click Options and refresh the Explorer. I mean, that's very weird to get this kind of note when you're like right at the very beginning. It should automatically show you all the data types and stuff like that. So, um, why wouldn't it display? Hmm? I don't know. Okay, so what's up here? It wants us to go to actions and then run. So we run the data page window is the run data page window is displayed. So actions and then run, and it brings up a new window that you guys cannot see right at this moment in time. So let me see about if I can show you that page. There we go. Okay, so you'll have to kind of keep an eye on um, the steps, while I'm going through this here because um, I can't, it's not like it opened up a brand new window, so just bear in mind. Um, for the make parameter in the value field, enter Tesla as the test value. So we put Tesla down. For the model year parameter in the value field, enter 2017 as the test value. Okay. in the upper right, click Run to run the to test the data page. So run. Okay, so there's that. Um, Expand the PX results property and confirm that property includes 3 result pages. So that's what we're going to be looking for. Oh, well, actually, you guys can't really see it, but so the PX results, we're basically looking for the 3 results there, according to the screenshot that they provided. So for the make parameter in the value field, enter Saturn and then click Run. The PX results property is no longer displayed, which confirms that not all vehicle makes have at least one associated model, which is true. Okay, so I mean, when we want to, I mean, it's telling us to create a unit test, but shouldn't we be trying to see about trying to fix that first? Or is it something along the lines of, hey, we don't have any kind of Saturn models, even though there technically should be some Saturn models out there? I mean, if you're included in, if you're including Saturn in the make, you should have some other, you should have some models out there, you know, but, I don't know. Um, I guess we'll be moving on to create a unit test here. So, okay, so in the run data page window for the make parameter, and enter the value field and enter in the value field enter Tesla. Okay, we're doing this again. Okay. For the model year parameter in the value field, enter 2017. Okay, well, I mean, we've already done that, so. But, I mean, I guess, maybe you. I mean, they didn't tell us to close it down or anything like that, so. Um, they could have used the information that was kind of presented up here because it's like, hey, you know, you only change the Saturn in the make field and that's it. I mean, you could have done the exact same thing down here there, guys. Oh well. Alright, so we're gonna run again, apparently. So, and then of course we got the PX results with the 3 different results there. Okay, and now we're going to do the convert to test button. So click convert to test to close the run data page window and create a test case record for the data page that uses your test results. Okay, so convert to test. Okay. Um, so yeah, we just finished off that one. So the parameter values entered in the run data page window are automatically populated in the edit test case. So here's the edit test case. Um, okay. Well, that's a little bit of a bug there. the fact that the description is being cut off there. Um, so that's a bit of a bug, I would imagine. Um, and I'll try to expand the window out a little bit so you guys can maybe see what it's trying to show here, but this is pretty bad if I'm having to expand out the window just to see all the information. It should have done a wraparound, and even then, I don't know if it's even showing like the full. It's not even showing the full class here either. And it's like, come on, guys, you can do better than this. This is you know, that's a bit weird. Okay, but um, so they're basically saying that, hey, the Tesla and the 2017, you know, should be visible, which it is. So, and an edit test case in the expected results section verify that the assertion type list values expected runtime. Okay. Um, right. Expected results, expected runtime. Okay. Um, in the value field, enter zero point 0.02 to set the passing threshold for the unit test to 0.2 seconds. Interesting that I cannot change the comparator. Not quite sure why I can't change the comparator at all. Um, Not sure what's going on there, but um, we'll just have to move on then because, we can't change it at all. So, in the second assertion type list, select result count. Okay. No, okay. Um, I mean, this is a little. I feel like this one is a little rough in that um, there isn't like any. Um, there's nothing like really separating these two sections here. They really should probably have like another label here, in my opinion. Um, because I mean, they're saying, second assertion type. It's like, maybe have like another label there to kind of make sure that it's like, hey, instead of looking up for the second assertion type, maybe look for expected results part two or something like that, or whatever. I don't know. Okay, in the of object field, enter or select the PX results. So, okay, let's not bring that up. Stat. In the comparative list, select is greater than. And in the value field, enter 0. The unit test validates that at least one record is returned from the data page when the make parameter value is Tesla. Click Save. And the label field, enter vehicle model list Tesla to name the test case record. So, okay. In the add to rule set and version list, verify that the highest rule set version is selected. Click submit to create the unit test. Which, I mean, there's only one version here. It'd be nice if there was like, like maybe a couple of versions or something along those lines so that you can actually make a choice between them, but I mean, there's nothing that has been changed there at all. So this is they probably pretty much could have said, don't worry about this, move on. They could have just kind of deleted this entire thing and just said, what you see is what you get. You're done. You don't need to worry about this anymore. Um, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate that they are addressing the fact that, um, you're doing something more to the, um, to the context, right? But still, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, um, just I don't know. It just feels like, they could have done just slightly more to make it a little bit more difficult for the user, meaning that, hey, instead of showing the fact that, um, there's only one version that, they don't even need to change, maybe have like two versions at least, have the screenshot show that, maybe it's at the first version here, but, maybe have them need to select the you know, most recent, just so this step actually is somewhat still usable. I don't know. Click submit to create the unit test. So, alright. So unit test has been apparently created. Okay. In the vehicle model list underscore Tesla test case, to the right of save, click the down arrow. Right, because we uh, we did a save on this so that we can, you know, change up the name and all that kind of jazz. Okay. In the label field, enter vehicle model list Ford. Okay. So save as. Click create and open to save a copy of the test case. Okay. To the right of class, click the gear icon to open up the edit details window and update the rule parameters. which I'm assuming because of the fact that they used Ford in the label there, we're going to be doing Ford as well and clicking submit. Um, enter Ford, right? Click submit to close the edit details window, right? And the description section, obviously, um, I skipped a little bit, but if they were like, saying something along the lines of change the model year or something along those lines to 2018, then I would have, I would have needed to go back. I would have needed to go back into that screen to change that up again. So, um, in the description section, click the edit icon to edit the vehicle make. Right, because the edit make is still Tesla there. So we're changing that to Ford. Click Save to complete the configuration of the unit test. Okay. Repeat steps 1 through 10 to use vehicle model list Saturn as a test case label and Saturn as the make parameter. Okay, so save as Saturn, and open. Saturn, submit, change. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that. Um, Got a little tired. I want to rest my eyes a second. Okay. Um. Okay. So we took all care of step 3 there. We now have step 4, and um, then we try to confirm, which obviously, as you can see, there is a lot of steps as well. So, all right. So in the header of the Dev Studio, click Launch Portal and User Portal to open a new browser tab or window with the new user view of the GoGo Road application. Okay. There's that. Um, in the lower right of the screen, click the Runtime Toolbar icon and then click the Automation Recorder icon to open the scenario test pane. So Okay. In the scenario test pane, click Create Test Case Type Assistance Request to begin recording your actions on a case type. Okay. Hmm. Okay. I guess it's going to be working on that for a little bit. In the create view and the how can we help you today list, select my vehicle has a flat tire. A large border displayed around all the objects you interact with to indicate that the automation recorder tool is recording the actions you take in the scenario, and the contextual pane actions you perform are recorded in the order in which you perform them. Click continue. Click continue to advance to the enter customer information form. In the enter customer information form, in the account ID list, select J Mitchell and then click continue. Guess I didn't get nearly as good a sleep last night as I really wanted to. My little portable heater that I got is kind of messing up on me, so my nights have been getting a little cold. I mean, it's still winter here, so. um, all right. Um, Click continue. Complete all the fields in the identify location and identify vehicle forms. Okay. That doesn't really tell me anything there, but so click continue. I mean, you're not telling me anything about the identify location and identify vehicle forms here. So, um, hmm. It'd be nice if they could have provided some information about that, but it doesn't look like it really matters all that much. Hmm. Oh man. Just tired there, folks. Sorry about that. I'm suddenly trying to fight sleep. Guess I probably should have taken a little bit of a nap before I started up the stream, huh? Which means that I'm probably going to be doing a fairly short Lego run through tonight? Oh well. Okay. Um. Yeah, I don't know. They're not really saying anything about these, so I don't know. And they're not really even telling me that I should be clicking any of the continue buttons on these in these particular forms either. So, I don't know. Um, let's see. Hmm. I guess it doesn't really matter all that much. But again, I don't really know. They're not saying anything about, clicking on the create button here at all. So I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say just stop and save here. Um, so we want name it called the initial customer request. Same for the description apparently. We're applying it to this. Which is the same as what it was before, so I guess it didn't really matter there. And add to rule set TC. Okay, well, that doesn't really change at all. Okay. They're not really mentioning anything about the context either, so I guess we're just gonna click on save and we're good, I guess. I hope. And the lower left corner, click the user icon and log off to log out of the user portal and return to Dev Studio. Okay. Confirm the work. In the configure menu, click application quality settings. I'm sorry, what? Application quality settings. Application quality settings. Click include build on applications and then select go row to include the application for test coverage. Okay. And we're apparently clicking save on that. And then we do configure application quality and test coverage. Right. application quality test coverage. Okay, application quality test coverage. See, I feel like this should be something that should have been like taught like right at the very beginning, and they should really drive home this portion like over and over and over again throughout these challenges. Um, unit testing should be one of those uh, um, processes that should really be focused upon like pretty much every single challenge, in my opinion. Um, you know, like how each of the previous challenges, or at least for a while, they had their own like little testing process that they did in the browser. It would kind of check to see whether or not you actually did everything, and then if you passed, and it would give you that check mark that hey, you did everything correctly in this challenge. Not so much it hasn't happened in this particular set of challenges, or the last set of challenges that we've worked on, but in the previous missions there were. It'd be kind of nice if they did more unit tests, or let you do the unit tests to make sure everything is working properly. So, all right, click start a new session. We're gonna title it session 1. And then click OK. On the configure menu, click application, quality, automated testing, unit testing, test cases. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Configure application. What was it? Application, quality, automated testing, unit testing, application, quality, automated testing, unit testing, and was it test cases? Test cases, yeah. Okay. Um, to the left of the test case name column, select the checkbox to select all the test cases, and then click Run selected to execute the unit tests. Okay, so we're going to select all those, and it told me to click on the Run selected. The results column verified that the Tesla and Ford unit test cases passed and the Saturn unit test case failed. Correct. To the right of failed, click View to see additional information and investigate why the Saturn test case failed. Test run logs, test runs log, dialog box is displayed. There we go. But it doesn't really show you anything here. Um, oh, right. You just have to click on it. Um, and they show you all this. Um, okay. Looks like we're good there. Um, Okay, we're going back to the. Oh wait, is it? Oh wait, they want me to do scenario testing, not. Okay. Okay. In the scenario testing view, select the initial customer request checkbox. Click Run Selected to execute the test. Passed. Okay. Dialog box displays a preview of the scenario test progress actions as recorded. The dialog box automatically closes when the test is complete. And the result column verified that the result passed to signify the test case is successful, which it did. So, stop the test coverage session and view results. Return to Application Test Coverage tab. Click Stop Coverage. Set coverage, yes. Okay, in the coverage history section, click Show Report for the test coverage session you just ended. View the results of the test coverage report. Yeah, they have 21%, I only have 20. Because this challenge environment supports the completion of multiple challenges, the result of the test coverage report may vary from what is shown above. It should be greater than 0% and show values for executable rules, covered rules, and uncovered rules. So yeah, we're only covering 20% of everything that, you know, has been done so far. So there you go. Okay. Well, we've officially completed this particular challenge. Obviously, there was a lot here. I highly recommend everybody go through this multiple times because um, so here's the thing. Um, when I was on a job, or for one thing, this was never really stressed in the this was never really stressed in the um, during our course. with the authorized training partner, when in fact it should be like one of the first things that you really should learn about. Especially if you're already familiar with JUnit, this should be like one of the first things that you learn. In my particular opinion. Second is the fact that um, you know, we didn't cover it in the authorized training partner, and when I went on the job, it wasn't really um, we weren't really it wasn't really stressed to me to make my own unit tests when I did have the chance to make a couple modifications here and there to the overall project. So um, I feel that that was also a missed opportunity from my manager and um, senior devs. You know, they should have asked, "Hey, are you familiar with this?" And I would have been like, "Well, no, not really. They didn't ever really stress this." And then they should have really like hammered home about it. Which is what I'm going to do to you. Just you know, um, cover testing your application. Do it over and over and over again. You know, record through like multiple steps. Change up the values in it. Um, I mean, there's different models that you can do in there. Maybe change that up a little bit. Um, change up what parameters you can see, what you're using, what you're doing, and so on and so forth. Just see about you know working with this particular challenge more and learning how to use this testing process because believe me, it's when you're getting on the job, you're gonna want to know how to go about testing your project out. Um, so all right, but that's gonna be it for today's um, Pega certification. We're going to go ahead and switch on over to the Unreal. But I want to thank you all for watching this. I hope you all enjoyed it. Um, I'll see you all next time for the Unreal session or for the next Pega um, topic. And that's it. So take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And I'll catch you strangers next time. Okay. So the Pega portion is done. I'm going to switch on over to the Unreal. We're going to start up a new video for the Unreal, and we're going to be joining Blackheart here shortly for some Unreal studying. So stay tuned for that. But I'm switching on over to get a proper video going. So be right back. Well, okay, here we go. 1 second there, folks. It doesn't seem to be wanting to show the web page. There we go. Finally. Okay. Welcome back to another Unreal study session. I'm your host, Ranger Jim, and we're going to be joined with Blackheart. I see him already in the stage. I apologize there, Blackheart, for running a little late. Um, but we finished off the sound attenuation last time. We covered through everything, and boy, was it a fairly lengthy process there, folks. There was a lot of information that was kind of given to us about it, but we got through it. We are now on the sound cue editor, um, which the editor itself does not appear to be very vast. It might, you know, we might be able to, we should be able to get through this entire page easily enough. The sound cue editor UI, however, is filled with a lot of um, specific keywords and the like, and it's not even something that is really that useful overall. It just says, hey, the visual logger. Well, guess what? It brings up the visual logger in a separate window. And it's like, that's that tells me nothing about what the visual logger is all about. So it's in some ways it's really not that useful overall. I mean, there might be some tiny parts to it that might be useful for the most part, but most likely we're going to be going ahead and skipping the SoundCue Editor UI portion of the with working with audio here. So we might just go straight to the SoundCue reference after that. But that's enough of me talking. Let me go ahead and get Blackheart in so he's not twiddling his thumbs going, when are you going to invite me in there, Jim? Let me get him in. There we go.
Hello there, Jim. How you doing?
Okay there, bud. How about yourself?
I'm okay.
Are you boiling pretty much there, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it is a bit hot. But then again, Argentina right now is hot in two ways: the temperature and the madness that's happening over by the capital and on different parts of the world, actually. Even
Hmm. Indeed.
I don't
Indeed.
know if the news over there cover anything of it.
Well, the as much as I'd like to say that United States gets a lot of their is informed by everything that's going around the world, it doesn't often. So, and I don't
Did
really.
they mention anything happening at the Argentinian embassy or anything like that?
What's that?
I wouldn't surprise me if they mention anything about the Argentinian embassy.
No,
Because in different
nothing.
parts of the world,
I haven't.
the embassies of Argentina are being like overrun by angry Argentinians.
Oh, okay. No, I did not
And
hear
they even show
anything.
Rome was like overwhelmed by Argentinian protesters over in Rome.
Oh, okay.
Yep,
No,
things are pretty bad. They're heated up in another way as well.
okay. Well, I hope everything goes okay for you there, bud. Obviously,
Oh, I'm hoping it does.
keep me informed. Obviously, don't, if things start,
Right
um,
now, long story short, if at least half of the things the current president is trying to push, then our nation is pretty much dead.
mm,
It's gonna take away so many rights from us. We're looking at about over 300 laws would be abolished. Not to
gotcha,
mention the cops are gonna be allowed to be trigger happy.
gotcha. Okay, well,
Yeah.
um, I wish you luck in this. Really wish I could help you out more.
Yeah, I
Um,
know. It's
yeah,
chaos here right now.
yeah. Well, let me know. I know that I can't do much right now, but
I know.
let me
Don't
know
worry.
if there's if the, even if you need me to like come online and have you need someone to talk with, let me know. Reach out to me, okay?
Yeah, don't
Um,
worry.
so okay. Well, shall we continue on with our sound cue editor?
Yep.
Okay. So the sound cue editor is a guide to using the tools available for setting up and editing sound cue node-based audio assets. Okay. Um, they really haven't covered much about what sound cues are to at least to a reasonable degree that I know of. Um, I don't know if you feel differently about that yourself there, Blackheart, but
No, the overview was pretty vague on this, so hopefully we get some answers of what exactly the sound cue is. I can only
yeah,
theorize, but let's
yeah,
hope they cover it properly.
yeah, I don't know. If they don't cover it in the editor here, then maybe we'll get more in the sound cue reference. Otherwise, I mean, this is going to be
We'll
the
have to
end.
experiment with
This
it.
this is going to be the end of our working with sound. Okay, just
Yeah.
letting people know. Okay. Um, the next portion that I have on my list of things that we need to kind of cover is artificial intelligence. That's the next one that we're going to be kind of looking at and studying a little bit, seeing if they have any tools associated with that. Which I mean, I'm kind of doing like a little bit of an overview here, and I'm not really seeing much. Maybe it'll be like under programming and scripting
Maybe.
for the
Maybe
AI.
Blueprint.
Um, but at the very least, if, if anything, I will kind of talking about artificial intelligence myself. Using information that I learned when I started artificial intelligence back in college. A lot of it might be, outdated, and there might be some things that uh, might need revision. You know, but we'll get to that. But um, so yeah, the behavior of audio playback in the Unreal Engine is defined within sound cues. Okay. The sound cue editor is a node-based editor that is used to work with audio. Okay. For more information, blah blah blah. Sound cue. The audio output of the combination of nodes created in the sound cue editor is saved as a sound cue. By default, every sound cue's audio graph node contains an output node, which has a speaker icon on it. The output node's default values volume multiplier is 0.75, and for pitch multiplier is 1. You can modify these values in the details panel. The volume and pitch settings are used to manage relative sound cue volumes. This affects the output of all audio contained within the sound cue. If you're using multiple sound waves with mixer and random nodes, you can control their volume and pitch independently by adding modulator nodes. Okay, that didn't really explain too much of what a sound cue is, though, or at least it didn't feel like that.
No.
Um, once again, I'm kind of it's not giving it doesn't feel like it's giving me enough about you know what it what it's all about kind of thing. Like The the sound mixer I can kind of understand because you're trying to combine like multiple different sound files into one, you know, mix of sounds altogether, right? And then you can
Right.
kind of manipulate the, um, what sounds takes major priority, if you need to like change the pitch on any one of those particular sounds using mixer, you can kind of try to go about doing that. Blah blah blah, right? How is a sound cue different from a sound mixer? That's kind of my thought line about this. What is a sound cue? What is it all about? You know. So they're not really addressing that very well, or at least maybe I'm missing some keyword, or well, maybe not necessarily catch missing, because I'm obviously reading through it. Maybe I'm just not seeing what um, they're like, hey, here's the picture for you, but right now my viewpoint might be very focused on like one particular area and not really seeing like the large picture or something like that. I don't know. Um, so I really wish that there was more there, but um,
Mm.
okay, moving on.
Yeah.
Okay. A sound wave is a representation of an imported audio file in the sound cue editor. You can select a sound wave asset in the content browser and add it to the sound cue you are editing by right-clicking anywhere in the sound cue editor, then choosing the sound wave in the From Selected category in the context menu. Because other sound cues may use the same sound wave, okay, you cannot modify the volume and pitch values of a sound wave in the sound cue editor. Okay. However, you can modify the sound wave's properties when you import it, or by opening it in the content browser by double-clicking it. Wait, what? Okay.
I'm guessing like it opens a mixer or something.
Eh,
I mean, if you look at the graph shown up in the example, there's one that says mixer
yeah.
inside the sound cue editor, so it could be
Yeah.
something related to that.
Well, it looks as though the sound cue is kind of maybe it's um like taking everything that's supposed to happen at one particular moment of time, and that's what the sound cue is all about. It takes the mixer that is like including all these different sounds into it, and then tries to output it all or something like that. But it's like, you know, I thought the mixer was already kind of doing that, so that's why I'm like, you know, um,
On the mixer, you can like mix sounds and even edit the sounds themselves by manipulating the wave, like with the whole low pass, high pass filter stuff. This is like putting the stuff into the sound cue
maybe
using
maybe
whatever
it's
you made and putting it in there.
maybe they're maybe they're basically saying, hey, we don't need to mix anything, we don't really need to change anything around. We just want these sounds in there, and we want them to play at this particular moment of time, so we're going to put it in the sound queue and let it go. Maybe it's doing that. Maybe there's like a little bit of overhead in the sound mixer because it's like having a lot of properties associated with it. So maybe they're like saying, hey, we don't really want to deal with all the mixer properties, so we're just going to deal with it that way. But again, it doesn't really make much sense because as you as you said there, Blackheart, they have a mixer in the sound cue there, so you know, what's the major difference here? Um, but
Mm,
the they're basically saying the sound wave is a representation of an imported audio file and the sound cue editor. You can select the sound wave asset in content browser and click add the sound cue you are editing by right-clicking anywhere in the sound cue editor and choosing sound wave from selected. Right? Because other sound cues may use the same sound wave, you cannot modify the volume and pitch values of the sound wave in the sound cue editor. Um, but wait, in the paragraph above, it says the volume and pitch settings are used to manage relative sound cue volumes.
well, maybe it's not individual. Maybe it's like generalized. Maybe you want to edit one individual part of the audio you just imported, but you can't do that. If you edit it in the sound cue, maybe you're editing all of it and not just one individual thing.
Maybe.
It's
But
maybe you edit there's only this one specific sound in the sound cue, but you can't do that in the sound cue. You have to like pop that out over to the mixer and edit in the mixer, then put it back in.
maybe. Um,
That's
it's the only reasonable course of action in this particular scenario that I can see. Um, the other question that I would have is, okay, if you are changing the volume and pitch settings in the sound cue itself, are you basically setting the sound, the sound volume and pitch settings for all of them? So, like for example, if the sound wave you added has like a volume and pitch that's like 25% or something like that, like 0.25, right? Um, and you add it into the sound cue, and the sound cue you just max it out. You put it at the one, right? Is it taking like, is it like taking that, um, you know, 25% and basically saying, hey, we're playing that 25% at the 25%, right? So like if you were to like maybe lower the sound cues volume and pitch to say like 0.75, would you basically be changing the sound waves by 25% and like reducing that down by 25% or something like that? I don't know. I'm not quite
I don't know.
yeah, I'm not quite sure what's really going on there. Or if you put it into a sound cue and the sound cue is at one, does it change all the sound waves to one? Like, hey, you put in the sound wave that's at 0.25, right? But you put it in sound cue that has one, and now all your sound waves have one for the volume and pitch. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing on that one. So, um, but again, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, but then still, what is the purpose of a sound cue versus a sound mixer? You know, that's the one thing that could, could really use a good explanation so far, and we're not getting that. Anything else do you want to add before I move on?
Mm, not yet. Let's move on.
Okay. Importing sounds. To import sounds in the Unreal Editor, do the following. Okay, blah blah blah. That's easy enough to do. We really don't need to. I mean, we've already done that, so you know,
Yeah.
we don't need to worry too much about that. So, creating a sound cue. To create a sound cue, do the following. We're adding a new for the content browser, new asset, other assets, click sounds, and then click sound cue. Type in the name of your new sound cue, which again doesn't really help us because we don't know what a sound cue does. So, so far again, you know, what is the purpose of this? But
Mm,
this will move on, or do you have anything that you
yeah.
want to say?
Move on for now.
Okay. So opening the sound cue editor. You can open the SoundQ editor by right-clicking the SoundQ asset in the content browser and then clicking Edit in the context menu that appears, or by double-clicking a SoundQ asset. Okay. Um, hmm. Wait, double-clicking a SoundQ asset. I'm I mean, if you don't have the SoundQ editor open, then how would you know what is a SoundQ asset? Hmm.
Mm,
Did it show like a specific symbol for the sound cue, as a sound cue asset? I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously the audio has a lot of um, you know, various things that you can see, that you can use, that has its own different icons and stuff like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if there was, but
Maybe.
yeah. Okay. Audio node graph. The audio node graph is located in the viewport panel. It displays the audio signal path from left to right with interconnected nodes representing audio control modules and audio files. The output node, which has an image of a speaker on it, represents the final output of audio as heard in-game and is always positioned furthest to the right in the signal path. The source audio files, sound waves, are always positioned furthest to the left in the signal path. Wires are used to connect nodes. To preview playback, use the play buttons located in the toolbar at the top of the sound cue editor window. For more information about the toolbar, see toolbar. Okay. Hmm. The play cue button plays the entire sound cue, and the play node button plays the sound from the selected node. If multiple nodes are selected, the play node button is grayed out and unavailable. Okay, so you can only play, one node at a time. You can't select multiple and play multiple. So, so if you want to have, um, so I guess if you want to just have, um, play those, you know, specific grouping of sounds, then you'd probably have to like create like maybe a temporary sound cue to do that.
Like you either play it all or you play one.
Yep. Well,
Nothing in between.
what I'm saying is that in order to get um
No,
like
well,
se-
you
like
don't
se-
necessarily need to create another one. You could just disconnect the sound cues you don't want to listen and play it all. Like say you want to listen to 1 and 3 here in the example, just disconnect number 2, and only these two will be the one going into the all the way to the speaker.
yeah, but at the same time that might be a little risky in that maybe there's some additional information that is handled by doing these connections or something like that, and I wouldn't.
All it's done is these are like audio tracks, and this is what it's telling that you do. Like this is all the behavior. Like one, two, and three is just audio tracks. Random, modulator, and looping, they're just behavior, and then there's the output.
Yeah. No,
So all you need to do is just remove one of the sounds, and the behavior is gonna take care of the rest.
yeah. What I'm saying though is that there might be some settings in there or that might you know get reset if you like remove the output. So what
I don't think it would,
I'm
because
I'm
you're importing an already existing audio. Remember what it said: you can't edit nor modify audios in the sound queue like
well
individually.
I'm not talking about modifying. Okay, I'm not talking about modifying um the sounds themselves. I'm talking about like there might be something here saying, "Hey, I want the looping hand being done for like 5 seconds, right?" And then you cut it off. You want the looping to stop after 5 seconds. And if you like take that out of the path, would it change that value or something along those lines? Would it kind of reset the value back to like, say like default value is like a 1 second loop or something? That's why I'm like, you know,
I don't think it would reset if you disconnect it. You
I
only
I
reset if you modify it manually.
I would hope that that's the case. I'm just saying, I've known some programs that, um, that have kind of done things along those lines where it's like, hey, if you don't need me anymore, we're just gonna get rid of it altogether. It's like, no, so um, so it's one of those things where it's like, I'm assuming, you know, I am, you know, uh, assuming, you know, that it does, work the way you're saying it does there, Blackheart. I'm just worried that
If you will reset, there will be a lot of users complaining and requesting that you change.
probably, probably. Um, the but uh, either way, what someone could do if they wanted to, like say you didn't want a modulator in, or you wanted to test out the sounds without the modulator, right? You can just create a different sound cue with the same audio files, the same random, the same looping, and going into an output. You can create like a secondary sound cue to just kind of test it out, you know, play it out, see if it's what you wanted, and then you can just kind of delete that sound cue afterwards if you really wanted to. You could do something like that as well. It doesn't, it shouldn't cause any, um, it's already talked about how you can add the same audio files into multiple different sound cues. So you can do that if you wanted to. But obviously, it depends on what you're kind of testing out and stuff like that. Like maybe you want like different sound waves at random to see like which one will be the best for this particular moment in time or whatever. I don't know. So that's what I'm saying. You could do that as a possibility. I'm not quite sure if it would be easier, especially if it's really simple to just kind of say, hey, I'm going to take out the input, take out the output, and move thing, you know, um, change the path around or something like that. Like, hey, um, I want the three sounds going into modulator, then the output for the modulator goes into the input of random, blah blah blah, right? You can really mix and match the blueprint there if you really wanted to um, to kind of change things around a bit, but still, it's one of those. Hmm. But I don't know. Obviously, we'll see when we get more into making the game, and well, we have to figure out, what the difference is between a sound cue and sound mixer is, but um, we'll have to figure that out a little bit later. So, of course, as always, if anybody's watching us right at this moment in time and you know these answers to our questions, then please feel free to speak up either right now in chat or on these video comment sections. We encourage any kind of additional information, you know, or links to other videos that might explain it. Okay, Blackheart and I will be sharing information with each other, um, so yeah, right?
Right.
All right. All right. You can add an audio node by dragging it into the graph from the palette. Right. Okay. Um, and obviously there's quite a different amount of sound nodes there, so that's interesting. You can also add a node by right-clicking in the graph and choosing the node from the context menu that appears. Right. Okay. So it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's just, you know, if you don't have the palette open, then you can just do right-click and handle it that way. Um, As with other node-based editors in the Unreal Editor, you can type text in the search box for a dynamic filter that lists the nodes that appears in the context menu. If you have a node in the graph, you can add a new node by dragging a wire off the existing node's pin and choosing a new node from the context menu that appears. Okay. So so you put in the looping, for example, you click on output, you drag it out a little bit, and it will bring up a context menu for you to basically connect it to. So interesting.
Yeah. So in the probably sound cue reference explain what each one is.
Yeah, yeah, probably. Well, at least I would imagine thank you editor might thank you editor ID might have a little bit more, maybe.
The UI don't know. More like I think like reference would be the one telling us what is what. Hmm.
Hmm. I mean, it mentioned the palette, but they don't really go through. They don't really go through the values contained in it. Hmm. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it for the editor. They're just
Yeah.
basically saying, hey, if you want, explanation of the nodes are available in the sound key reference. Well, I mean, it just says it right there.
Yeah.
um, all right. So we'll go ahead and skip over the sound cue editor UI because
Yeah.
again, that's not really that useful for us. Um, so I'm not really seeing a major listing of uh, information concerning the different nodes here. Oh my God. They have a link. Wait, okay, hold on. Wait, I thought I clicked on that for. Okay, there it is. It's like, wait, what? I thought I clicked on the sound cue reference, but it didn't initially bring it up. So I was like kind of scrolling through and really not really seeing anything in terms of the different nodes. So I was like, oh wait. So I guess I was just kind of confusing myself. Or the link initially was kind of throwing me off by saying, okay, here's, we're gonna send you back to the sound cue editor or something like that for some reason. I don't know. Um, okay,
Hmm.
sound cue reference has a lot of information in it,
Yeah.
like a
I
lot.
guess this is something that we can look at as we experiment with it. Like if we're looking for something particular, then we look at the sound cue reference. If we make something with sound cue, which all I can do is make a guess of what the sound cue is based on its name mostly.
Yeah.
Like with the sound mixer and attenuation, you can like modify the sound itself. I feel like sound cue is like putting it like in some form of condition to trigger this that sound that's on a cue. Like say you walked into an area with a boss, and the sound cue would look at as a condition to trigger boss music, for example. You went through it on the mixer attenuation to make it sound the way you wanted it. Sound cue says, okay, this condition is met, play it like this. Maybe or a sound effect, like if you grab a melee weapon and start smacking something, the sound cue saying, okay, I detected something's being hit, cue in this sound. Just from the name alone, it's like just because of that part where it says cue.
Well, okay, so according to this, which again, doesn't, again, it doesn't feel like you're wrong. Um, but again, this one doesn't sound like it's like covering all the information either. So in the SoundCube reference, like the very first two paragraphs that they have here, in Unreal Engine, a SoundCube is an audio object that encapsulates complex sound design tasks in a node graph. Sound cues provide audio designers freedom to dynamically change parts of the sound effects design by arranging and modifying sound nodes, creating complex and interesting audio output. Sound nodes appear in the palette panel when the sound cue editor is open. When you add a node to sound cue and selected, the properties for that node is displayed in the details panel. So, um, it definitely feels as though, you know, um, it's like, you're right in the fact of like, the sound mixer is meant to kind of change the volume and the pitch and so on and so forth of the sounds associated with it. Um, but the sound
The sound
cue,
cue could be behavior.
yeah, it might be like behavior or might be something like it's like waiting for a specific trigger to happen. Maybe it, um, I mean, it just feels as though it might be just full on like, hey, it's just kind of waiting for some kind of trigger. And then it will play all the associated sounds along with it, and then it may loop, it may not, but it doesn't. It sounds as though it's something like um, it's not changing um, It's not really changing a sound, but what the sound does, if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like like here, one of the notes that you can add into the sound cue is called delay. I mean, yeah, you can put a delay into the sound file itself, um, or you might change like you create a song and you put like a slight spacing happen between um, like you might like stop the song for like a minute or something like that, you know, basically thinking this is when the dialogue's gonna happen, and then you can start the song right back up a minute later, right? But um, um, maybe there's something else going on during that time that they needed to like maybe expand out the delay longer. But you'd probably need like two separate soundtracks for that. Split that first one into two, and then maybe you can do the sound cue editor where you play the first song. You have the second part of the song, but you have it go like one goes into the delay to be played, and then you have like the second part come in afterwards or something. I don't know. Um, Again, I'm not sure like 100% what sound cues are all about, but it feels as though it's meant to do like a what the sound does. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
it doesn't really have like any control about like I'm looking at the palette for Sound Road, right? And I'm not seeing reverb on there, for example.
I think reverb is part of the configuration for either attenuation or mixer.
And that's my point is that the reverb is something that affects the sound itself, right? It changes up how the sound is heard. Whereas the sound cue might be something along the lines of like it's just like changing how often you hear it or something like that, like looping, for example. You know, so so maybe that's the difference between the two. Could really use confirmation. So if anybody knows for sure, then let us know about that. But that's where I'm kind of leaning towards now. But
Mm.
I'm not, I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, like the only example from what I was thinking that I can think of, or at least the best one, would be I don't know if you played Devil May Cry 1. Uh, while there's no enemies, there's like one set of like background sound and music. But as soon as an enemy enters, it like all the background changes and it puts in some heavy metal.
hmm
And I feel like that would be an example of a sound cue. Like that sound was cued in for as soon as an enemy enters, trigger this music now. Okay, enemy's dead. Okay, put back in the ambient. I feel like maybe that's kind of what sound cue would be doing.
Well, I would say yes and no. Yes, in the fact that you can probably like trigger the sound cue to play all the different like sounds and combat and so on and so forth. For when combat is initiated, like it says like, hey, we're gonna change up the music from from before into something new.
Like using all the
Um,
music, all the enemy sounds, and things like that.
right, it kind of puts it all into like one different sound cue for that portion. But notice the fact that it doesn't, the sound cue editor has nothing concerning trigger. So it's not
I
like,
think that falls in the programming part, maybe.
yeah, so something else most likely has to trigger the sound cue editor, but the sound cue editor holds on to all those, like, those type of sound effects, the music, when to play it, when not to play it, kind of thing.
Like sound cue can be tied to some form of programmable condition, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Um, so it's the only thing that I can think of. Again, I'm not 100% sure if I'm correct in that uh, assumption. I might be completely off base. I mean, I don't know. That's why, I look forward to anybody that knows you know, to give us some more information. But for right now, I think that's where we're gonna go ahead and close on down there, my friend.
Yeah.
Because
As a
um,
reference point, we can look at it whenever we're working with a sound cue if we are looking for something specific and we don't know what it is.
yeah. So um, so I think this is pretty much the end of our working with audio section. I think
Yep.
we're pretty much done with the audio. Obviously, we've generated a lot of questions. There's a lot of parts that we're not 100% sure about. We encourage anybody that is a sound engineer to please look through our videos and help us out on our lack of understanding in certain areas, or in a lot of areas in some cases. Um, but I think this is where we're going to go ahead and kind of say, like, hey, we're done with our audio portion of um, you know um, the Unreal Engine. Would you agree, or
Yeah, I do agree.
okay? So, so I'm just gonna basically say that, hey, we've now covered the audio section and the like. So, so next time we are going to go into AIs. Now, again, I don't know where they have AIs in their documentation. I'm not really seeing anything that is like outright stating like, hey, this is
We
for artificial.
found AI components, but that's pretty much it.
Where did you see the AI components?
I typed it on the search, AI, and on the components section there is AI components. Hello there, Julian.
Okay, so I'm looking up artificial intelligence, and there is a section called Making Interactive Experiences, and artificial intelligence is apparently underneath that. So here, yeah,
Okay, I found
make
that part as well.
so making interactive experiences and artificial intelligence. Okay, so we'll probably be covering that. Um, covering the artificial intelligence portion of this. Now, this interactive experiences might be something that we might want to look into a little bit more, maybe. Although, like using cameras might be something that we might want to consider. Um, Networking multiplayer, eventually we'll probably want to try to do that at some point in time, but you and I both know that that is a
Long way,
mess.
if we ever do on networking and multiplayer.
Well, I would recommend that we do at some point, maybe, depending on the game. But
Yeah.
we shouldn't outright say no to it. Okay. Um, you know, like some games might be really great on as a single player, but we might have people that are like going, "Boy, I really wish this could be multiplayer." Um, and we might get people like requesting that a lot for a game. So we may need to consider that at some point in time in the future. I'm not saying we're going to start it off like the very first game, no. That's not
No,
something that
way
I'm,
ahead.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, you know, um, it might be like the fifth game down the line or something like that. Who knows? You know, we might make our very first game. We're working on like our second and third game, and then we might be seeing like a lot of people coming up and saying, "Hey, can you do like a multiplayer for your first game?" If we get a lot of suggestions along those lines, then we may
Our
consider
first
it.
game, no.
Well,
Our
I'm
first game, no.
well, I mean the initial idea is to make sure that we're not going to make our first game as multiplayer, right? But like when we're like 5 games in, right? We're already like made like multiple games and stuff like that. We're already kind of familiar with the Unreal Engine. We're knowing how to kind of, you know, make the process, work things out, and we get a lot of comments. Like maybe someone sees the first game, purchases it, plays it out, and they're like going, man, would really love to see it as a multiplayer. Spreads it out, it starts blowing up and stuff like that as a single player. I'm just saying, hypothetically, okay. And we get a lot of comments in these, in the community, basically saying, could we get a multiplayer of this game? Okay. Then, you know, we may say there's no way. There's no way that we can figure out some way of making it multiplayer, and we'll let the audience know. But if we can maybe figure out something,
Right.
then
In the case of multiplayer, we will have to consider it from the beginning, pretty much, because if we make something single player, adding the multiplayer later, it's gonna be a mess.
yeah, oh yeah, that is indeed um, something that um, we would have to kind of consider. Okay, think of it this way. There was I told you about the game Kingdom, right? Did I
I
did
I
I
think I have one of them, Kingdom Classic.
did you ever play Kingdom? The that or do you know about Kingdom where it's basically like that one it's a game where you're playing a king or queen on a horse trying to rebuild their kingdom. It's very
Yeah, I've
pixelated.
seen the footage of it. I haven't played it. I have Kingdom Classic, but I have seen footage of it.
Okay. Um, there was one streamer that was playing it, okay, and and he like played their second version of it, and then he was like, hey, he kept on talking about how he would love to have gotten and get his wife into the game, or play the game with his wife, right? And you know the game designers heard that, saw that, and they were like, "On okay, how can we make this game into a multiplayer?" And then they created the game Kingdom Two Crowns, which is basically the same style game, but now with two players in it.
Yeah, they
So,
built it from the ground up with the intention for multiplayer.
right, I mean they obviously, did the same style game, but now they're trying to they added, they built in the multiplayer aspect of it. So, and try to work around the ideas of how they could actually make it a multiplayer and so on and so forth. But that's something that could happen with our games. Okay, just bear that in mind. You know, now I'm not gonna say like, hey, let's go ahead and go back to our old code and change it all, to include multiplayer. No, probably
No,
not. Um,
that'll just break the game.
Most likely, yes. Well, I mean, we'd have to do a real, we'd have to, first we'd have to branch it, so we'd leave the original alone to continue being purchased and stuff like that if people wanted to purchase it, right? And then once we make all the necessary changes to to add the multiplayer aspect in it, then we could put it right back in place of the first to add in that multiplayer um, scenario. So now, whenever people download the game for the very first time, they have the multiplayer aspect of it. But let's face it, that's going to be a lot of work and a lot of headache and stuff like that. So,
A lot of
um,
debugging, a lot of bug repairs.
oh yeah, those that's without
Yeah.
question. If we're adding anything with like networking and multiplayer, we're definitely going to need to you know, uh, do a lot
There's
more
also
tests.
balancing.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, let's face it. All these things we're going to be doing anyway with single player as well. It's just with the
Yeah, but with
multiplayer.
multiplayer, it's just a nightmare to do it.
Yeah, I know. But at the same time, nowadays you can actually you can ask people to kind of do it for you too. Okay, get some streamers to do it. We can do it ourselves. Like if we're like, okay, here's our game. We just tried to introduce multiplayer into it. Black and I are gonna test it out, see if it works. See, write down all of our problems with it. And see what we could do with it, right? You know, but at the same time, if we can get others to do the same, you know, then that might also be a possibility. So, so yeah. But obviously, that's way down the line.
Yeah.
but but I see, networking multiplayer is part of this making interactive experiences. Um, so this is interesting. I don't know if we're gonna be um in my listing of topics that you know we were gonna cover for Unreal. Um, I didn't really cover very much in the interactive experiences, but I know how um, how useful some of these can be as well. So,
Yeah.
I mean, physics alone, for example.
Yep.
Um,
A very important part of the game.
yeah. Well, for the most part, you know. I'm gonna assume that, you have collision. Yeah, collision in physics. So,
Yep.
so collision is pretty much essential for any game, you know.
Yeah.
So, um, for the most part, well, I guess it depends on the game.
Mm. Yeah, like if you do you want something to be movable, then yeah, collision and physics will go hand in hand. But if it's
Yeah,
something gonna be static, like there's a random box there, but even if you walk into it, nothing's gonna happen. It's just collision alone.
yeah. Well, I mean, like if we do like a simple game like find the difference style game where it's like you just click on the image that is different from the other image or something like that. That's not really collision. So
No.
you know that's a puzzle game and stuff like that. So it's like obviously there's really no need for a collision in that style of game, for example. So it depends, but yeah. But I mean, collision is still pretty still something that we should probably cover probably.
Yeah.
So so I'm gonna go ahead and like write down making interactive experiences. Maybe I'll put that after AIs in this list, and we'll kind of go over that a little bit more. Although physics is part of the making interactive experiences, so that's kind of covered underneath that. Um, it's also talking about input,
Hmm.
which is also another one that I think I mentioned in my listing as well, I think. Game controls, yeah. So that's kind of covered under making interactive experiences. So maybe we should just cover making interactive experiences like fully.
Yeah, I'd say in its entirety we will have to cover it. There's plenty there that's gonna be important, I feel.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's some things that it's like, I don't think that we should really cover it immediately. But we may want to come back to it later, such as vehicles, you know.
Yeah, vehicles, and we can skip until we actually are going to implement vehicles,
Yeah.
if ever.
Well, yeah. Um, if ever, yeah. The possibility might happen sometime down the future. Who knows? I'm not going to say it's never it's not going to be possible at all. We're never going to do it. But you know, but yeah. Using dialogue, voices, and waves. I mean, that's probably not going to happen for a while. Um, so I mean, unless you and I start doing some voice acting ourselves, and well,
I wouldn't mind doing it. I mean, just look at my Shovel Knight stuff. I kind of went nuts a bit there with the voice acting part. Late Knight's still my favorite. I like being the mad scientist there.
Okay then. um, but we might want to wait off on the dialogue voices and waves or something like that. For example,
Yeah,
there's some things that it's like okay, I can definitely see us using, but at the same time, there's things here that it's like, well, maybe not so much. Like force feedback, vibration function. The
eh,
the only time that I would ever see that is if you're doing it for like platforms. Now they're saying like you can include it for the iOS or Android, but
yeah, because of the Rumble system.
but I would me personally I would hate to have my phone vibrate. you know, that's just I don't know feels I mean, I don't necessarily like vibration functions in my controllers anyway, but that's me.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
this will be for when we get into developing for consoles, maybe.
maybe. But
Not
again,
so much PC.
the problem with designing for consoles is that you need to follow their specific rules for making the game and for that particular console. You know, if you're doing something for Nintendo, if you're doing something for PlayStation, if you're doing something for Xbox, they have very specific rules that you have to follow in order to get the game out on any one of those particular consoles. And even then, that might require a lot of money to even allow for them to, you know, um, for us to even, be allowed to sell those games out on those consoles too. So probably not gonna happen right away.
No.
you know, unless we somehow like blow up or something like that, right? It can happen.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say
At
that.
some point, maybe.
I'm not gonna say that it's never gonna happen, but um, sometimes it just might be, interesting luck at some point. Like
Yeah. Like Cave Story.
yeah, um, Cave Story. I mean, Among Us is another one that blew up, and now granted, Among Us was designed for multiplayer.
Yeah,
So
it was built or fully for multiplayer in mind.
yeah,
Yeah, they
um,
started it just like that.
yeah, but you know, because some people loved it so much, and kept on like, playing it and stuff like that, it got, it then like, really cascaded, especially during the pandemic, right?
Yeah.
Everybody started playing, Among Us during the pandemic. Um, and but the thing was that Among Us had been out for like 2 years prior to it really blowing up. You
The
know,
streamer's gonna put it in the map.
yeah, streamers definitely put it on the map. Um, and I think at the time they were actually considering doing a Among Us 2. Um, you know, they were kind of kicking around the idea of like, hey, well, we need to see about making this into let's think of ways to make this Among Us 2 or something like that to be sold. And then Among Us blew up and there it went. So
We just said, okay, no, let's just make Among Us bigger, and that's it.
they pretty much they started like, I mean, they pretty much opened it up for like mods. I think they allowed for modifications to be added
Yeah, they
in.
added more maps and they added modding functionality. I think they
Yeah,
even made their modding tool, I think.
yeah. And after that, it just also it continued to blow up even more, right? Because then the modding community came in and they were like going, oh, okay, this is interesting. Let's see what we can do with this. And it just took off from there. So, which obviously the crew that are working on Among Us, they're like going, okay, these are interesting concepts. Let's maybe we'll take some of this. So we'll add it officially into the game. Um, but yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and end it so you can get the heck out of here, get yourself something to eat, and you can go
Yep,
and play your game or play Genshin later on tonight, and
yep,
I can move on to playing some Lego. So, um,
yep,
all right, man.
yep.
We'll go into
Uh,
our respective and say our goodbyes. So, I'll
yep.
catch you later. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye. Okay, and that's where we're going to go ahead and end our Unreal session here, there, folks. I want to thank you all for joining us for um, for this Unreal session. Hopefully you found it informative. Again, please feel free to give us some information concerning the sound, the audio, because obviously we're not like 100% sure what's going on there about like all the topics. So if you're like a sound engineer or you are very experienced with Unreal Engine, then please feel free to go back through our videos so far that we have on the Unreal. Or you can check out Blackheart's content as well. And I have a playlist of it, so feel free to look through that and put in some additional information that can help us out. We would greatly appreciate it. And then, of course, we'll share it with each other. Um, Check out the description for various social media links, links that help me out directly, such as Patreon and Throne, links that might help you out if you're interested, the link to the robot application page and its document, or its um, the document that basically explains it. That's there. Um, don't forget to give a like and subscribe if you like what you saw. Um, you know, feel free to make some comments. Um, we appreciate any kind of constructive criticism. So, and it all helps out in the end. So, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. Hopefully, I catch you next time. Until then, take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. I'll catch you strangers next time. Okay. Now that video is done, we are going to go ahead and switch on over to some um, we're going to switch on over to uploading. So I'm just going to get some music on here. Thankfully, my headset audio is muted, so you guys can't hear it. I'm playing some copyrighted music, so oh, there we go. I do it so that my headset doesn't fail on me, just so you're aware. I don't really do it for anything else, really. Um, it's just meant to kind of keep my headset alive so that I can actually talk with you all. So, um, okay. So, in this, well, 30 minutes or so of of content, we're going to go through um, the videos that I have uploaded, and we are going to see about um, making sure that everything gets released properly. Okay, so okay, as an update, I had to make a cut of the I had to make a cut of the audio for Warframe. Um, Here, let me see if there's been any additional information from Warframe, but I don't think they've replied to me since then. So They haven't sent me any kind of um, they haven't addressed anything about it. Um, okay, so and I haven't heard anything else about it. Okay. And it's really sad because it's like, you know, I would hope that they would kind of address this a little bit more, but or at least, let us know, let the community know that, hey, we hear your concerns, we're looking into it, or something along those lines, right? We're looking to see if we can help you folks out as a streamer concerning Warframe, concerning the Warframe 1999. Okay. Um, because so here's the thing. Um, when I put up, a little forum post. You can see it. At least they haven't blocked this one at all. Um, so there, I'm just talking about how there was a copyright claim. Um, there was one comment saying, uh, YouTube system simply allows the abuse, and it's like, well, UMG is protecting Nine Inch Nails. They're protecting their artists Nine Inch Nails and the music that they make. So, they have every right to do that. If there's nothing that can stop them from doing that, or if Warframe hasn't like talked with them and said, "Hey, listen, you know, this is gameplay, and we would love um, for our community to play the song during gameplay," then it's like, okay, well, they're gonna need to talk about that. They're not gonna need to try to address it themselves, right? Um, because there's nothing that I can do. I can't go up to UMG and say, "Hey guys, I'm just playing a game here. Uh, this isn't the full song for one thing, and I'm just trying to play a fun game." No, they're gonna say, "Yeah, and um, you know, look at GTA 5. Okay, GTA 5 is just full of soundtrack after soundtrack after soundtrack, music artist after music artist after music artist, song after song after song, and it's like that's the radio itself in GTA 5 is just just copyright claim city, when it comes to YouTube, right? There's nothing they can do when it comes to that. And UMG is just going to basically go, "Hey, you're playing this song in its entirety during the gameplay. You have no rights to this whatsoever. Yeah, it's ours." Now you can try to figure out like ways to try to um, to um, like maybe you can put up the fact that you have a license to play said music. You know, um, you might be able to arrange something along those lines where you have a license to, like you go to a specific, um, record industry, you know, company, and you pull out a license from them, and then you can play all their music that they have under their umbrella, which doesn't cover everybody, by the way. um then you might be able to say like, hey, why are you guys trying to copyright claim me? I have a license for this. Take that copyright claim out. You could try to do something along those lines. I don't have that money. You have to pay, like, it was like, take a license for like one radio station was like, or, to kind of mimic a radio station was like, like, what was it, like $500 or something like that for the year or something? I don't know. Or $500 a month, or yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the cost is for the license, but it wasn't cheap. Okay. Um, let's just put it that way. So, um, so I mentioned the fact that, hey, UMG claiming the music, that's not abuse. That's just UMG protecting their artists. So there's nothing that, I'm not faulting UMG on this. Okay. There's nothing I can do about YouTube either. Okay, because they are basically, basically saying we don't really want to touch this. We're not worried about it. You know, it's kind of out of our hands. Um, you know, so YouTube pretty much does like a hands off when it comes to the whole copyright, which is unfortunate because there's been a lot of abuse when it comes to copyright. So it'd be nice if they did a little bit more along those lines, but at the same time, I can understand why they're trying not to as well. Um, so, I just basically would like to see like, I wanted to see like something official from UMG or from Digital Extremes about it, about, you know, what they're going to do with Into the Void and any future songs or anything along those lines, because the fact that they're including a song from a band that is being covered under the umbrella of UMG, if it gets played during any time during further gameplay in the future, then us as streamers, we'd have to basically say, okay, we're no longer able to play any kind of music because all of our content would be claimed. And at that point in time, I'd have to basically say, well, if my content is being claimed, it's either A, no music, which sucks, or B, um, you know, um, I'd have to put all of my remaining Warframe content on Patreon and basically say there's nothing, not a damn thing I can do about it because, the music is being claimed. I will not see a cent, in ad revenue from these videos that I upload anymore, unless YouTube changes its policy or something like that. So it's like, okay, well, that's a bit problematic, right? But I was like going, okay, um, I didn't really want to try to dispute the claim from UMG because once again, they have every right to put the claim out. They're trying to protect, the song Into the Void by Nine Inch Nails, and they're being very proper about it. That's what they do, right? Um, do I like it? Not completely, but at the same time, I can understand why they do it too. Okay. I wouldn't want, some like, um, I wouldn't want some SS Sniper Wolf taking my content and, saying, hey, it's mine now and making millions off of it or something like that. That'd suck. you know. So, um, so that's the thing that it's like, um, so I understand where UMG is coming from on it and stuff like that. I'm like going, okay. Right now, it's kind of like it feels like it's in a transition period right at this moment in time. Okay, they just brought it out. They brought out the Warframe 1999. They brought out Into the Void. Nine Inch Nails song, great. But if we're gonna see more later on down the line, then we're gonna be in trouble, copyright wise, right? So I was trying to see if there's like anything like an official statement from them about um, about that song, about, is it something that will continue to be, published, further down the line. So, um, then, no one, another person said, I can't find links now, but back during TennoCon, DE was very clear that they cannot share permissions on the Nine Inch Nails song. They had to rearrange licensing to use it themselves, which is concerning. They warned co-streamers that they might be muted, and they might be muted. I remember seeing a guide for content creators warning folks not to try to use it in their clips. I imagine when Warframe 99 is closer to release, they will provide another clear warning about it. And I'm like going, okay, well, I took a look around. I found a video where they basically showed the gameplay and the cinematic clip and stuff like that. They talked about the song and the timestamp that I put down is Rebecca Ford. Uh, you know I don't know everybody at DE, so I'm assuming Rebecca Ford is like one of the community managers or something along those lines. She said all content creators are safe. Don't worry about strikes. And it's like, okay, great. I'm not really, I mean, on one hand, great. I'm not gonna get striked. That's awesome. But at the same time, it doesn't stop them from copyrighting and from claiming the music either. So, um, so it's like, um, I put up a warning saying like, hey, if there's no potential monetization for any of the gameplay because the song is and like maybe they do the Nine Inch Nails song in the background like constantly during the gameplay, then there's not going to be any monetization from anybody that plays that particular portion of the game, and that'll basically mean that you're not going to have anybody that wants to stream it or play it because now they're at risk of um, having no revenue whatsoever um, for it. So I mentioned the fact that I was going to mute the song in the forum post because I don't have anything else on this. Um, Wait, did they move it? They moved it. Wow. I put it under feedback because it's a concern. It's a concern of mine for whispers in the walls and all that. They moved it to players helping players. And I don't need players helping players in this. I want an official notification from Digital Extremes on this. That upsets me. That upsets me a lot. That's them saying we are ignoring your concerns. And it is a major concern, in my opinion. They're ignoring the streaming community on this. Okay. So I made a forum post on the Spurn Walls feedback section asking for official notifications about what they plan to do with the Nine Inch Nails song Into the Void. I was concerned that if they continue to add copyright songs into their gameplay, then as content creators, we would have to mute all music. Otherwise, we would be hit with claims over and over again. Just found out that they moved my question to players helping players. I don't care what other players are talking about it. I wanted to hear something official from DE about it. So they completely ignored my request and pushed me aside. To say that I'm a little upset about that is kind of an understatement. Hmm. Not sure how to proceed with Warframe now. If they are ignoring a concern from a player that has been playing their game for years. Wow. So, um, yeah, okay. Um, I just I just found out that I just got basically pushed aside from Warframe. Um, and they're ignoring my I also messaged them as well. I'm like going, hey guys, what's going on with copyright claims? Because they have a policy of not claiming music. And now they put up a song that does the exact opposite. I'm thinking that I'm gonna need to make a video about this. Hey there, DE. Um, I don't think this should be the end because I want to hear from them about this. You know, it's like, okay, you did it once. What's to say that they won't do it again there, folks? What's to say that they won't bring in some copyrighted music and put it in the background of their game? You know, like Star Wars with um, um, Duel of the Fates. You know, there's a game, like a game out there that has Duel of the Fates as the background music throughout the entire game. There's not going to be any way for you to get around that at all. That your video is going to be claimed constantly about that. I'd like to have reassurances from Digital Extreme that this is going to be like the one and only time that they're ever going to do that because this is concerning to me. If I'm to stream this game, if I'm to stream Warframe, then I'm gonna need to know what I can and cannot play. If I can't play the new content, then I'm well, I'm never gonna be able to get any further in the game. I'm basically going to be stopped. I'm going to be kind of frozen in time. I can't go any further than that until YouTube changes its policy somehow. And even then, it's like, what happens if the soundtrack is like completely copyrighted? For one thing, that DE has to completely remove um, their statement that they will never claim from gameplay because they can no longer claim that anymore. They've basically gone, you know, they've basically nullified that. So, oh, that pisses me off. That pisses me off a lot. They're ignoring my concerns about it. And that's I need help with the Warframe community on this. I need you if you're part of the Warframe community, talk with other content creators, or maybe you know um, I would love to maybe talk with someone that they do have some form of connection with the you know with members of the DE um DE devs, DE, audio technicians, whatever. And, I would love to, be able, even even if it doesn't necessarily come from me, I just want to get feedback from them or something official from them about, what is their plan in the future for audio? Are they going to keep on adding in copyrighted music in the future? That's it. That's my main concern about this. If they do, then I can't play Warframe anymore. I'm gonna have to stop playing Warframe because there's not, if they're not gonna support me, then you know what's the point of trying to support them? You know, um, my God. Move me down to players helping players. No, I don't care. But I'm half inclined on maybe trying to reach out to someone from DE itself. Uh, okay, well, um, that's unfortunate. That's just spurs and walls. Copyrighted music included. Okay. Um, okay, well, set it for January 27th. Okay. I'm not quite sure why I don't need both of those. Don't need that one. 15 minutes is nothing. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna have to put down my I'm gonna have to like put some thoughts down about it. Um, and I may try to put like a video out there. Not that it's really gonna get a lot of traction or something like that, but I mean, I need it, my concerns fell on deaf ears, and I really feel that it shouldn't, because here's the thought line is this there, folks. Okay, if DE you know is okay with putting one song up into their mix now, um, you know, that's copyrighted. Who's to say that it doesn't won't happen again? So that's why I'm concerned. So um, they have a policy saying that they will not go after anybody claim music from gameplay, but that that is no longer the case, or at least they failed on that statement. So they're going to have to bring out another statement, or they're going to have to restate, what they plan on doing in the future, because um, they've lied. That's just simple as that. DE lied to us. Now they've basically gone back on their word. So um, you know, I really did appreciate the um I really have appreciated the music, the gameplay of Warframe, but if it comes into the point of like, hey, I'm gonna have to mute everything in their music section, then you know obviously that's not gonna make a lot of people happy, right? You know, I'm gonna have to basically tell new content creators, well, hey, guess what? Good luck on any future content in terms of music. You might want to mute the music from now on. You're probably not going to want to hear it. How's that for a community? Hmm? Um, I'm I'm at a point where I really want to try to like maybe write out a script right now, and just basically maybe do a recording for it right now. But at the same time, I don't feel presentable either. I'd want to at least get rid of the neck beard. um, you know, Coming at it, somewhat professionally. So, I don't feel like I should do it like right here and now, but at the same time, I really want to consider um, writing up something about it. Um, this is a short video about my concern. And I'm just kind of mm, writing up a potential script here. Short video concern with inclusion of a copyright. Hey there, HQ Bricks. How you doing? Welcome to the stream. How's your day been? Let's see. Um, frame. Good on you. Well, I just found out a little bit ago that kind of pissed me off a little bit, and I'm trying to figure out what the best way of kind of really tackling it in some way. Um, so, yeah, obviously, you know, you weren't here when it happened or something like that, but, um, so what happened, just in case you're kind of curious, um, you know, I do these streams. I try to do these streams every day, right? And I try to put some games out every day as well. Okay, one of the games that I play is a game called Warframe. Free to play game. Pretty fantastic community overall. Um, you know, would generally recommend it. But after what happened to me, or after what I just saw earlier today, I'm a little worried. And when I'm worried, it's like, okay, well, new sub by the way. Well, thank you for subbing. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Um, so one of the things about Warframe is that they pretty much try to support their community as much as they can, right? It's a free to play game, but the community's been kind of helping them out, because because it's a free to play game, the community helps them out by trying to do a lot of purchases for them and stuff like that, a lot of platinum purchase, and Warframe brings out a lot of cosmetics, brings out a lot of new Warframes and stuff like that, and the community, puts money into their development cycle so that, Warframe, continues to progress, right? Um, Now, it's been their policy that in the past that any music of theirs would never be copyright claimed. So anyone, can kind of play their music without any problems from them. They will never claim the music and stuff like that, that they produce. And so, you can, people have done it before. You could literally go and do like a reaction to those songs, and you will never see a copyright claim on those songs until recently. Recently, they brought out a brand new expansion, and they included a Nine Inch Nails song into a cinematic. And because that cinematic is there, and that Nine Inch Nails song is in there, that song just got copyrighted. From that song gets copyright claimed from the Universal Music Group. UMG. And it's like, okay, but Warframe has stated in the past that they will never claim any of their music. And now they bring out a music that is copyrighted and has been claimed. So they're now going back on what they've stated in the past. So so I asked a question on their forums like, you know, is this going to be a one and done kind of thing? Like this will we'll never see that song ever again after said cinematic, and therefore we have no worries afterwards? Or are we going to be seeing that song kind of being played during that section of the whole Warframe? And I don't know. That's my concern right now is that I don't know where Digital Extremes will take it. You know, they included the Into the Void by Nine Inch Nails into their cinematic, and it's they tied it in with the cinematic. They tied it in with the Warframe universe. So they could, in all reality, they could kind of make it a background song in their gameplay if they really wanted to. But if they did that, then they could it could be kind of claimed constantly. So, oh, you gotta go. Okay, no worries there, bud. Well, hopefully you can come. You can come back and watch the rest of the content later. Um, so so that's my concern for anybody else that's kind of lurking in the background. Um, they're because they've kind of walked back on their word that they will never have copyrighted songs, or they will never copyright claim any gameplay. Um, I mean, they could say we won't copyright claim, but that doesn't matter. Okay, if the songs are copyright claimed, it doesn't matter who claims them. If it's still claimed, it's claimed. It's you know um, the fact that um, DE is um, sure, Digital Extremes might not necessarily claim the song themselves. They might not be the company that basically says, "Hey, we're claiming that song. This is our copyright. We're gonna claim it." Sure, they might not do that themselves, but because they're actually including the song, and if they continue to do so, if they continue to play that song throughout the gameplay, then they're basically kind of falling back on their own word on it. They're basically saying, well, we're not claiming it, but we're going to put the song out anyway and have other people claim it for us. Oh well. That's my concern about it. Okay, that's um I need something official from them on this because um they um you know I see like on the Warframe wiki that um, that the Warframe music policy last updated on November 25th, 2020, which apparently has been archived, states that, you know, um, all of Warframe's in-game music is owned by Digital Extremes. Not anymore. We will never apply a copyright claim to an end user who's broadcasting game Warframe with music enabled, or to an end user who's uploading gameplay content with music on. No longer the case. Well, you know, they say we will never. Doesn't matter anymore. They're using copyrighted music and it's being claimed by someone else. Uh, as Digital Extreme holds ownership and rights to all of Warframe's in-game music, we do not allow any commercial use of our soundtrack. Okay, you know, you know, how does that fall into ad revenue? Are you okay with ad revenue there, Digital Extremes? Because, well, to my knowledge, a lot of people get ad revenue pretty much all the time for gameplay content. So, or at least I would imagine. I don't know. I don't I don't have enough subscribers right at this moment in time um, to confirm that or anything along those lines. So I don't really know. But um, um, monetizing ads. You may monetize content that includes Warframe assets through passive advertisements. Fan sites and YouTube videos may include advertising. For example, as long as advertisements do not interfere with the user's access to the content. Okay. Well, again, that's in jeopardy now. Here I'm gonna kind of take these websites. Here, I'll go ahead and put that down as well. Uh, hmm. Let's see. Don't really see anything there. Um, yeah, let me see if, no, there's nothing there. Mm, hmm. Monetization of your video that leverages our content through advertisements served by the platform which hosts your videos, such as YouTube or Twitch, a platform. Receiving donations via donation link posted on your profile or in the video description on a platform. So those are the two ways of, you know, making money, you know, receiving payment, you know, from Warframe. And well, that this first part is in jeopardy right at this moment in time, or at least it could very much be in jeopardy. Um, okay. Interesting. Don't really care about the wiki's music policy. I already have it. The fact that they push me into players, helping players, is just so frustrating, man. They haven't. I mean, I'm gonna have to just tweet at them and keep on tweeting at them and basically say, hey, DE, what the fuck? You guys have a policy against claiming music, but now you included music that, you know, someone else is claiming on in, well, not necessarily on your behalf, but, it's part of your gameplay, and now you have someone claiming it. So what are you gonna do about it? Sorry, I'm getting a little upset, folks, by it. And the fact that they're just ignoring me is also just irritating. You know, yeah, this post has been ignored. It got pushed into players helping players. Although this guy might have asked um, might have asked in feedback, and again got pushed into players versus players helping players. So what's the word that I'm looking for? Um, Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to think of how to proceed on this because it's just it's just unfortunate that I'm having to you know, they're not doing anything, or you know, they're not addressing this concern of mine at all. And um, and you know, I don't know. Um, it's just kind of frustrating right at this moment in time that they've basically said we don't care about your concerns. It's like you should be, you know, you're um you're you know potentially gonna be causing your community a lot of heartache and annoyances if you ignore, you know, if you ignore what I'm asking right now, you know, and that's why it's like, you know, um, just you know, just so you guys are all aware at this moment in time, right? Um, you know, the I've been playing Warframe since 2020, if not, you know, 2019. I think this was actually a 2019. Um, let's see. Um, let's see. Yeah, very first video was 2019. So in well, about 7 months from now, it'll be 5 years. So, so about what, 4.5 years of Warframe gameplay? You know, Apparently some people haven't been liking my videos all that much. Oh well. I don't know. I'm not sure what to do. Um, should I just keep on posting a forum post, post a forum post, post a forum post, post a forum post until they finally get back to me and say, "We hear you. Stop." Or do I do that the same thing with the Twitter post? Do I do that with um, you know, I mean, I don't want to be annoying, but they're ignoring me, and this is concerning. You know, I mean, it's the only thing that I can think of is to go full annoying on them to try to get them to listen to me. And I would hate to do that. You know, I hate trying to be one of those people that are like on, hey, are you gonna do this? Hey, are you gonna do this? Hey, are you gonna do this? Hey, are you gonna? It's like that would piss me off. You know, um, you know. So I really wouldn't want to do that to digital streams, but I mean, I don't know what else to do. You know, I don't know what their policy is going to be because they've already violated it. So they've already violated their one policy. You know, so just because they were basically an accessory to the claim. They added the song in and they allowed UMG to claim it. So, while they're not actually carrying the murder weapon, they didn't necessarily stop it either. So that's why it's like, mm, that's why it's really tough for me right now. I mean, does anybody else agree or anything like that? I mean, if you're listening to me right at this moment in time, would do you agree with what I'm thinking here? Or I mean, you're welcome to disagree. You're welcome to kind of say, Jim, it's fine. You're making a mountain out of a molehill. You shouldn't have to worry about any further warframe. I hope not. I hope that won't be the case. You know, um, I'm not sure. So I don't know. Um, I'm not really in the mood of playing Lego tonight. Um, I think I'm gonna go ahead and shut down there, folks. To be honest, um, I was kind of blindsided by the whole fact that they moved my question down to a section that DE doesn't care about, or you know, it's players helping players. Okay, I was looking for more official. I was looking for something a little bit more official than that. Um, okay. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and close on down. Um, I don't feel like playing Lego tonight. I hope you all understand, because you know, it just you've been playing a game for 4 years, so you've been supporting the game for 4 years. Um, you try to help out the community when you can. You know, like every time that I go to a world with Hydroid, I always say, "Hey, free resources for you guys. Here's Pilfer and Swarm. Enjoy the resources that you're going to be getting." And I've done it multiple times. You know, um, I could have just gone solo, and grinded resources if I really wanted to. But here's the thing: when you have multiple people, you get more, you get more monsters, you get more, enemies to fight. So that's why I typically didn't. Means more resources for everybody, and if that's the case. But I didn't need to do that. Okay, so um, so that's why it's um, I'm a little worried about the Warframe future right at this moment in time. I don't feel like playing Warframe 1999 if they're going to include the 9-inch nails throughout the entire game. I have no assurances right at this moment in time. I have nothing, you know, I don't know if they've even stated anything about, if they're going to be including the 9-inch nails throughout the entire soundtrack on it, you know. So, you know, yeah. Okay, guys. Well, I got things to think about and maybe a script to write. Um, no use of me continuing on with the stream if that's what my main focus is going to be. So, I'm gonna go and close it down here. No Lego movie tonight. We're just gonna stop it here. Uh, Go check out Blackheart. He's playing some Genshin Impact. So go and watch him playing some of that. Um, who knows? Maybe I'll go and join them or something like that. I don't know. I just want to like to talk to someone about it. Just uh, bugs me. Bugs me a lot. Okay, but I'm out. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Check out the description for various social media links and stuff like that. Hopefully you enjoy the content. Give it a like and subscribe if you like what you've seen so far. And that's it. So take care. Have a good night. Stay healthy. Stay safe. I'll catch you strangers next time.